I'm gonna say what I got to say. I'm gonna try to be cool on this one.
We rolling, man. Hey, it was getting a little spicy. We was talking about the issue of the migrants relocating to Chicago, and OG was, voicing his opinions on how he was feeling. And, OG, I do agree with some of your sentiments, but I'm just kind of like, we need to try something new in that area of the country.
Right.
We gotta try something new. With murder rates that high.
Yeah. Because if you really
But
look
there's no problem with. I don't have a problem with you doing something new, but you bringing people in who are taking tax dollars of the people who pay taxes there, and they're opening. When they told the people who are paying taxes there, they had to close 50 schools. Where they said, listen, we want to make community centers and programs for the youth and everything like that. And the last administration said that they didn't want that. Now you have all this money, $51 million of the tax people money to give to these migrant people to house them and to take care of them and so forth like that. I just don't think that's fair. I think that if I pay my tax dollars, I should be able to get the services I need in my community to help my community.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not, and listen, I'm not anti-migrant and this and that. I don't feel that. I feel like
you just FBA.
Well,
you ride for your folks.
Yes, I'm FBA.
You ride
but
for
I'm,
your folks.
but I'm. It's just like if I was not FBA, I don't think it's fair for anybody to come in somebody else's community and the community not get the benefits of the things they need before these other people get it. So I don't think that's right for no community. And the black community is the only community that they're doing it to. They're not doing it to the Asian community. They're not doing it to the Hispanic community. They're not doing it to other communities. They're only doing it primarily to black communities.
It's their fault though.
It's not black people's fault. It's the policies that the politicians and the city council are putting together. You got to understand that way certain things, it doesn't have to do with what the people say, because the people have voiced their opinion that we don't want certain things. We don't want certain things. But you have the people that who are politicians, the decision makers and the policy makers that are doing these things.
Who put those politicians in the seat?
Some people have put these people in office. They have put some of these people in office, and these people are not representing the best interests of the people. All right. So when the politicians are not like Dr. Claude Anderson said, he said that the politicians should be actually grassroots. That the community picks these politicians to represent them because they will represent the best interests of the people. And these people, yes, these politicians are not representing the best interests of the people. All right? So that's where the problem lies. It's not with the actual people. It's not with the community itself. It is with the representation and the policies that are being put forth in those communities.
Clint, you have anything you want to add to the conversation?
I mean, first and foremost, to the point of the whole taxpayer things, at the end of the day, man, taxes is a scam anyway, man.
It's a straight scam, man.
Scam.
Why is it a
anyway.
scam?
Don't pay that
Your
shit.
tax is supposed to pay. Your tax is supposed to pay for the roads and other services that's in your community.
Yeah, that
It's
sounds
false.
nice.
Right.
It's false. What's the word? It's false. I don't want to say advertisement, but it's like
It's a finesse.
it really is a finesse. All we're doing is just giving what we think is money that we think is going into this and this and this, when it's really being used for something completely else.
I do agree with you.
Completely
But
else.
that's when it's only being done like that is when the people don't have the proper representatives who are making sure that the money is going in the proper places. It's just like a lot of things that this country did. That this country
Don't pay taxes.
A lot of money.
Bro.
Listen.
Don't pay them shit.
Well, I tell you
What you
what.
gotta do,
I tell you what.
you gotta
Don't pay
avail.
tax. If you don't pay
I
tax, you
can't
want to.
blame
I guarantee.
Hispanics.
I tell you what.
I can't.
Don't pay taxes if you don't want to. But when the IRS come knock at your door
Yeah,
and
yeah,
lock
yeah.
you up, then you
They'll
get
be sick.
second thought.
I'm not saying
So
to
you
break
ain't
the
pun-
law. I'm
you
not
ain't-
telling
then
nobody
what
to
you
break
saying?
the law. What I'm
You said
saying
don't pay
is,
taxes.
what I'm saying
Yeah,
is,
you
you
gotta
gotta
do what
play the
that's-
game.
Yeah.
What
Black
game is that?
Americans do not play the game well.
What game?
We don't know the money game. We
The
don't.
money
We
game.
don't. We
The
don't
money
own
game.
enough property. We don't have enough write-offs.
We
We
don't
don't
have-
have,
okay,
enough
credit-
businesses.
credit line.
Okay,
We don't
we
have
don't.
credit lines.
We don't.
These
And that's-
people
and
will
that's
be
by
here for all the
design.
18 months.
And that's
They'll
by
have
design.
a business. They'll have
That'll
their
be
name on the
design.
property.
That's
They will
design.
have write-offs.
And-
They will play the
and-
game
and if
because
people-
their
if people are
predecessors were
assisting you,
here
if
playing
people
the
are giving
game,
you-
and they'll teach
If
them
people
the
are giving you
game.
$51 million dollars of tax people's money
That's
to help
cap.
you get started,
That's cap.
of course you're gonna be.
That's cap.
Nah.
Excuse me.
That's cap.
Of course you're gonna be.
That's
It ain't
cap.
no cap.
That
It's
is
a
cap.
fact.
I feel like
It's a fact.
an excuse,
That's
man.
cap.
'Cause you
It
can't
ain't no
tell me
excuse, it's
with
a
black
fact.
people with the black dog, we could if we put our minds to it, we could do it, bro.
We
We
just
could
not
do the
trying.
same thing.
We're not
man.
trying.
So you telling me all black people, we're in the condition because we don't do certain things.
I didn't
You
say
don't,
that.
you don't believe certain things are not that we're not sabotaged or certain things are not
No.
presented to us to have.
We are, but here's the thing: we can't use that as a excuse. Any
Yes, we
longer.
can use an excuse.
No, we
It's a
can't,
big
bro.
excuse.
There are
It's a
black
big excuse
billionaires. There are black
because when you
billionaires, man.
I didn't say every person. I didn't say every person was
I'm just
sabotaged.
speaking on the shithole
The
that is
average
Chicago.
What is possible?
the average person
Chicago
is
people are
is
below
sabotaged.
average though.
is
These
sabotaged.
Black people living in Chicago are not average. They're below average on the general.
Not all.
the majority.
Not all of them.
All right,
me
but I
ask
said the majority. I said
Majority
that,
of who?
Do you
the
think
majority of
the
blacks
majority of-
living in the shithole that is Chicago.
What areas are you talking
I
about?
said the shithole that is Chicago. If you're black, is more often than not you are a piece of shit, Chief Keef offspring, ducking bullets trying to survive, and you have a third grade reading level.
All right,
These
Well,
is
I
what
sure-
I'm talking about.
let me
I'm
ask you-
talking
I
about.
sure
I'm
ask both
talking
of
about
y'all
underachievers, bro. They don't have a legacy
Okay,
of
so
success.
let's say, see, you need to be very careful how you say that. If you say people that are underachievers in Chicago who are not doing things, I can kind of understand it.
That's what I'm
but,
saying.
But it's not a representation of all people that are
Black.
in Chicago, black people that are in Chicago. So you have to be very careful.
That is right.
in
But
your
when I
wording what
spoke,
you're
I
saying.
said the word majority.
Majority of who? Majority of ones in the South, in South, or you
Yes,
said
I'm talking about the problem
Okay, so you're
areas.
talking about.
I'm not talking
you're
about the ones that live in the
You're talking about on the
suburbs.
South. You're
Listen
saying
to
on
what
the
I'm
South
saying.
side.
Listen to what I'm saying, and you'll get it. I'm not talking about the ones that made it out the hood or living in the suburbs. I said the problem areas. They're not building housing for migrants in the nice ass areas. They're putting them in the trenches.
Yeah.
No,
Because you
That's
no,
what the discussion
no,
is.
they're putting.
They're not putting them in no good
Excuse
place.
me. They're putting. You're wrong. And you Google it, check that out.
I'm gonna check it out.
They're putting those people in middle class areas with black people in black middle class areas. They're not putting them in the South Side of Chicago.
I'm gonna do my
Okay,
Googles. I'm gonna come
all
back
right.
to this very moment.
They put it on the west side of Chicago. That's why if you look at CNN, they had those people out there protesting, standing up, and they're what they're trying to do. They're actually trying to sue this the city of Chicago for that money that they're trying to allocate to these people because they're saying that their area needs those services and they're giving them to other people. So the area where they're putting them at is in residential middle class area. They're not putting them on the south side of Chicago. All right?
Let me ask y'all this, man. One
That's
by
why the
one.
people are in the uproar.
One by one. Ronald, starting with you. Can the south side of Chicago be saved?
The only way the South Side, it can be saved. I believe any place on earth is redeemable, but you have to come in with a new energy and start from scratch. You cannot take some dirty ass dishes and put them in like a clean cupboard and think that the cupboard is gonna be clean still. You gotta start with a whole new set of everything. Remove what was once there and put something new in there and see how it goes. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think.
Right.
What about you, OG? Can
I
it
feel
be
like
saved?
any place can be changed. It's based on economic change. Yes, there is a great problem in Southside Chicago, gangs and everything like that. You have to have those things removed, and anything can be changed. The policy has to be changed. The politicians that are running these areas have to be accountable for their district and those parts of that area where there is high crime and drugs and everything like that. Anything can be turned around, but it has not only, it has to be, the politicians have to be grassrooted and speaking, be a voice of the community and what the community wants. So anything could change, of course.
Now,
But I think that certain things are by design. You know, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. Now, for Rollo, your point, you saying that you gotta remove what's already there and put something else in. Especially when you look at a place like O Block, that's literally caged in. Caged in.
Police
There's only
every
one
day.
way in, only one way out,
Mhm.
and everything. Do you think that there's active genocide happening in that area? Do you think that government officials are literally just like, hey, you know what? We can't control it. We're gonna let them kill each other off, because you gotta think about it. Over there, when you hear the stories and just everything about it, it's generational beef. Beef
Right.
going all the way back to the 80s.
Yeah, it's a culture.
Or probably before that.
So do you think in politicians' mind is like, no matter what we do, is that
Fuck
beef is
these
always
people.
going to be there? We might as well let them kill each other off.
Well,
Then we go in and literally clean the streets.
Well, I think it's a double-sided situation on the policies and that side of the coin. I think they do benefit from these people killing each other.
Right.
Like, let's just get straight to that.
Mass
They
incarceration.
make a lot of money off of these people. Because when people are distracted, you can finesse them for everything.
Yes.
You
I agree
could
with
you
that.
could charge them more insurance. You can make them pay crazy rents. You could it's just easy to control and finesse them. Like, you're gonna get a bag off of these people. They're gonna be a cheap labor source for you. They're not gonna try to educate because of the societal woes that they're facing. They're not gonna ever rise above a level. So if I have a manufacturing job which is 10, 15 minutes away, this is a great source of workers. You know what I'm saying? They're like chattel slaves because of their mentality.
Oh.
He's coming from the perspective of policy. I'm coming from the perspective of people and cultures. I think you have to change the people and God change the culture. To change a grown man is hard. Just swap it out. Get a new person. Get a new person in the driver's seat, see what they do. If they seen success, because there is a big Hispanic population already in Chicago, if that side of Chicago is doing better than the black area, hey man, this might be the next best thing. Let's get these migrants in here and blow this thing up. Maybe it'll be more productive.
So what do you do? My thing is this. What do you do with the black people who are so-called are not successful? Don't they have deserve a place to live? If they're working people, I'm not talking about the ones the people who are not productive, this and that. Yes, okay. We have mass incarceration. Yes, you doing crimes and doing all the kind of things. You should be jailed. You should be under the law of the government of what you're doing. But probably even in South Chicago, they might still be decent people there too, and they're suffering because of what the area is being affected by. Don't some of them deserve to be able to have a decent community and because they are probably decent people there too.
This is what I have to say.
So
to those
policy needs to change about how you deal with the politicians who make these policies and these laws and everything. Need to look at these communities and say, give these communities the things that they need to change.
This is what I
And
have
to
to
turn
say.
it around.
This is what I have to say real quick to those people. If you're a decent person living in a shithole situation, you can move. You can do it. It might be tough, but you can do it. There's a program here in the city of Atlanta. If you're a homeless person having a hard time, they'll provide you a free bus ticket to the nearest city just to have a new fresh start. They probably have the same thing in Southside Chicago. We're living in a first world country where you have a lot of options. If you're catching hell, all your family members are dying and parents are on drugs, move away from where you are and try again. You have potential and you have hope. Just leave. Don't wait for somebody else to change your situation for you. Take the power that you have back and get the fuck out. That's my answer.
Okay.
Go ahead.
OJ, let me ask you this quick question. You know? What? And this is just out of pure curiosity. I just want to know, because I'm getting a sense that you have a lot of trust in the potential of these politicians to change the fortunes for black people. Why is that?
I don't really have the trust of these politicians to change the fortune of black. I believe that if you have politicians, the politicians who are not doing things, they need to be voted out of office. They need to be out of office. I don't care from the mayor on down to city council or whatever, and this and that. You need people who are going to be represent the people, the grassroots, the community. These people should come out of the community and rebuild your community through the grassroots. Or them crooked politicians, they need to go out, because they have done nothing for the community, and they shouldn't keep being voted in year after year when your community it looks like trash. What are you doing? You're not doing anything. You're not helping your people. So you need to be voted out and have a new stream of other people coming in that's generally concerned about the community, the welfare, who's been basically born and bred in these communities that's coming out. Not people who are not, that's living on other side of town and they're not really connected with the community. All right? So you need, like Dr. Claude Anderson said, he said that you need politicians from the grassroots, and these people are responsible to the voice of the people. Not some political party, not no Democratic Party or Republican Party, or no leftist, left-wing organization, white or right-wing organization. They answer to the people because the people put you in office. So when you have these new breed of politicians that are generally concerned about the community, you'll see the changes that you need because they will have policies based on what the people want. And nowadays, we look in, let's talk about Atlanta. We live in Atlanta. They having Cop City built down the east, on East Point in Atlanta, in a residential area with their schools and everything like that. The city council, the city council voted, what's her name, Bottoms, Mayor Bottoms, voted for that bill for I think it's going to be like a $90 million police city that's going to be built in primarily in a residential area. Mm-hmm. The people of the city council voted for that. You had people in the community who did not want this. They're fighting against it now. And they're telling their politicians, you didn't even ask us what we felt about it. Mm-hmm. So these are the wrong politicians. These politicians are not connected with the community. You want people that represent the community and it's going to speak in behalf of what the community wants. That's the only way I believe it's going to be changed.
Okay. But that's a good point. Now, can I ask you, is there a place somewhere in America that has these people already established?
They're gonna come from young people as yourself.
Okay.
That needs to get involved with the political process, with community activism, that are connected with the community. Right. The old politicians, the old guard it needs to be put out.
Right.
So you need new, fresh minds and fresh insights to help build the communities that we need. So we need more younger people on the city council, become to involve yourself in politics. If you're going to get in politics, to be senators and Congress people and everything like that, that they can present policies that the people want.
Right.
So it begins with the younger people.
So what you're saying is invest in the youth.
Right.
For the future.
For the future.
So maybe in your lifetime you might not be able to see these changes.
Right.
But you believe that later on in the future, everything that you're wanting to see out of the politicians will come to fruition because of the youth that's coming up.
Yeah, if you can shape the minds of the young people to be community minded and to love their community and see their community as an investment and value in their community, they'll be able to see it, and they'll want to keep their community a certain way, and they would not want to see the community be destroyed or gentrification or whatever that comes out. So they'll want to invest, because anything that you invest in, you're going to cherish it.
Right.
You're not going to just tear it up. It's just like a person that if you know, it's a difference between a renter and an owner. A person that might rent, they rent there to a place, they don't really care about if it gets torn up. But if you own something, you're gonna take more time and more care in taking care of it.
Right.
So the community you live in should be a reflection of you and your values and your morals and a certain pride in where you live.
Now let me ask you this last question here. That for the south side of Chicago, where the youth is, they're dying before even seeing 25,
Right.
21 like that.
Sad.
How can that area change if the future is literally being destroyed in front of our eyes?
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard question, but change is the only constant in life. So sometimes it takes a change is a process where you have to tear down the old and build up the new. So I think that a lot of the people who are unfortunately that are young and connected with they are, a lot of them are a product of their environment, because they raised up under violence and guns and all this kind of activity. So there has to be another group of young people who sees that and want to pull away from that.
Where would they come from?
Well, it's going to have to come. It's going to have to come from other young people. I don't think every kid in Chicago that's in the South Side is just want to be gang banging and everything like that. I think that some want change. So it's up to the older people who see this, is to nurture these young people to help to build their community, you know, and you know, possibly through that you'll have change. How long it'll take, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you that, but change can happen, you know, but it's in the hands of the youth, because you can't keep. My thing is this: you can't keep doing things the same way and expect a different result.
Right.
You have to change, you know, and we're in an
So
ever-changing world.
When you say that, who are you speaking to?
I speak for my people. I speak in behalf of my people.
So you speaking
I'm
to
a black man. I can't speak for any other group.
Are you speaking to the youth of Southside Chicago?
I speak to the youth. I speak to the youth. The young black youth are coming, saying to them that you don't have to be a product of your environment. You can be in that environment, but you can change that environment. You know, you can change your
You gonna get somebody hurt,
yourself.
man. You gonna get somebody hurt, man.
What are you talking about?
You gonna get somebody hurt, man.
You're not gonna get nobody hurt. If you instill values in a child, just because everybody that I give you a perfect example. The great MC KRS-One was homeless. Him and his brother were homeless, but his brother was going to school. Kenny Parker was an A1 student. He was going to a somewhat private school, but he was homeless. He was dealing with family situations. So your environment doesn't always have to dictate who you are, this and that. And he didn't have. It was just his mother. He didn't have his father in his home, but he was an A1 student. There are a lot of kids that.
What did he do after that?
Huh?
What did he do after that?
He went to college.
Where did he go to college at?
He went to some college in New York. He had a scholarship.
Was it in his hood?
It wasn't. It was in his hood. It was in New York. He was from the Bronx. I don't remember the school. I have to
He got the fuck out of there, bro.
No,
he went to a good college somewhere away from the bullshit.
He had the opportunity.
He gotta leave.
He had the opportunity to get out. He had the opportunity to get out, but he still came back and contributed to his community.
See, now that I believe
this and that.
But
so
there has
it's
to be
nothing. Wait a minute. But everybody may not have the opportunity. There are a lot of kids nowadays that are in environments and everything, but they strive through the environment, and they end up making something out of themselves.
Striving
So
environment.
you can't to be whatever they want to be.
Like what?
To be doctors, lawyers, whatever they desire to be.
In that
To be politicians. In the same, your environment does not always dictate where you're going in life. It does not. Yes, does play a point. But in all people, you are not always a product of your environment. It's a matter of you as an individual, the decisions and choices that you make.
But
So
this is how I feel, right?
You can't always say just because you're from the hood, you don't have a chance to be successful.
I'm not saying that. I never said that. This is what I'm trying to tell you. If you feel like you're a math and science whiz, but all your friends want to gangbang and kill people, and these are your childhood friends, this is what you should do. This is the advice that you should take. Go find people. No matter if they look like you or if they don't look like you. Go find those people and go hang around them. Get the hell away from the people that you grew up with. You should have your own mind. And your own mind should be reinforced by other people who are not like you.
Let me tell you
something.
something.
You should meet strangers that are trying to do what you're trying to do.
Let me tell you something personally about me.
Go ahead.
I was around gangbangers, drug dealers, and everything like that. I didn't choose to sell drugs. I didn't choose to gangbang.
What did you choose?
I chose to work and to do the right thing, go to school and do what's right. I didn't follow anybody. Okay? I used my own mind. And it wasn't because I had my parents, but I used my own mind. Because that's not what I wanted. I wanted something different for myself. So it's not always, just because you are surrounded by a certain environment does not mean that you have to follow in those footsteps.
That is true, but what did you do? Who helped you reinforce that mentality? Did you go to church?
It was my mother.
Did you go to church?
It was my mother. It was
church? No.
It was, I ain't gonna say always church. Yeah, I did go to church, but it was me. It was the choices that I made.
By yourself.
By myself. I didn't. My brother wasn't there when my friends was out there selling drugs and doing certain things. It was me, and I chose not to do that.
Did you have friends that wasn't selling drugs and doing stuff?
I had some friends who was not. Everybody was not selling drugs.
Okay then.
I played sports.
And that
there were
helped you.
guys this and that, but they were like me.
But that helped.
But
you.
they had choices too. They chose not to do that. They chose to do other things. They chose to work. They chose to get in sports. They choose to do different things.
And
so
that
some things, yeah, of course it helped me. But primarily, it was me. It was the choices that I made.
Right.
It was not. I saw that like that's something I didn't want. And there's a kid in Chicago, L.A., wherever part of this country that don't want to gangbang, don't want to be in crime or doing certain things. They make a choice to go to school. They make a choice to do certain things.
And doing those certain things takes them away from certain things.
It takes them away from maybe that light.
Because
from what they're doing.
Flock together.
You know? I'm trying to say, I'm trying to think of somebody.
You're not gonna convince me you're gonna be the one needle in the haystack, but all your friends sell crack and doing stupid shit.
Yeah, of course.
And you the one exception.
Yes, right. That's right. That is true.
That is not.
That is
no,
right.
it's not.
No,
it's
that's
not
true.
true.
That's your thought.
It's not true.
That's true.
You had friends that wasn't doing stuff.
I knew people who did not sell drugs. They was that one needle in the haystack.
All right, we're gonna pause it right
Listen
there.
now.
Put a pin in it. Timer.